Hello everyone, I'm Colleen, and today we will discuss adjective. So, let us know first what adjective is. An adjective is a word that describes a noun or modifies a noun. It gives more information about the place, things, ideas, or person. So, an example of it is that she wore a red dress. The red here is the adjective as it modifies or describes the dress, which is a red dress. Also, another example is she likes tall men. Being tall is one of her preference, so it is an adjective. So, why is it important to study adjective? Adjectives are important because they add details, clarity, depth to our communication. So, by describing or modifying nouns, adjectives help us to be more specific and paint clearer idea for the word we are trying to say. For example, instead of simply saying a home, we could describe it as a small wooden mountain house to give more vivid image to the person that we are talking. Also, adjective allows us to express opinions and emotions, such as calling a movie amazing or a person kind. Um, in terms of storytelling and writing, adjectives play an essential role for setting, developing characters, and making descriptions more engaging. Without adjectives, our language would be just flat and boring. It makes the communication and the meaning harder to convey. So that would be all. I hope that you learned something from my part. So, let us know what order of adjective is. Order of adjective is the standard sequence in which multiple adjectives are placed before a noun. So this order is important as it ensures clarity, smooth flow, and naturalness in spoken and written English. So native speakers follow it more subconsciously and sentence feels odd or confusing when it's broken. For example, saying a red big ball sounds off when a big red ball sounds correct. So this is because size typically comes before color in English.
So now let's move on to cumulative adjectives. So by definition, cumulative adjectives refer to two or more adjectives that build and empower on one another and together to modify a noun. So cumulative adjectives work together as a single unit and not as independent descriptions of the noun. Hence, they are not separated by commas and cannot be rearranged or modified without sounding awkward or incorrect. So for examples, Noah's Ark is a magnificent, gigantic, ancient wooden ship. And for a second example, he wore a dazzling blue American tuxedo suit for the prom. So notice that in both of our examples, we use multiple adjectives that kind of accumulate. So you cannot remove or rearrange any of these adjectives without uh, changing or modifying the meaning of the noun or making the phrase sound unnatural. So what do we do? Do we just put them there at our own discretion, or do we follow some sort of rules or some order? So next is the order of adjectives. So in cumulative adjectives, we follow a specific order, hierarchy, or pattern of categories. So we must ensure that we follow this order of adjectives to ensure the correctness of a phrase, and we cannot disregard or rearrange the adjectives in the phrase in any way without changing the meaning or making the phrase sound unnatural. So the order follows determiner, number or quantity, opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, and purpose or qualifier. So for example, a single beautiful small old round red French wooden serving table. And below you can see how we break this down and sort them into their own categories. So for example, we use for our determiner A, single is our number, beautiful is the opinion, and small is the size. Old is our age, and shape is round, and our color is red, and the origin is French, material is wooden, and purpose is serving, while the table serving as our noun. So now let's move on to the key rules for cumulative adjectives. So for our first rule, standard order matters. So in cumulative adjectives, we follow the correct order of adjectives. And if you can remember earlier, I already mentioned this order. So they are as follows: determiner, number or quantity, opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, and purpose or qualifier. So for our second rule, no commas between adjectives. So in cumulative adjectives, we know that the adjectives empower and function together as a single unit to modify a single noun. So no comma must be used to separate them. So using a comma would also imply that we are using a coordinate adjectives instead of cumulative. So for our correct example, a small round glass table. So for our incorrect example, a small round glass table. So for our third and last rule, stick to standard order, no rearrangements. So always follow the fixed order because disregarding the order of adjectives and rearranging them freely will make a phrase sound awkward or incorrect. So for our correct example, a lovely old stone cottage. So functions as our determiner, lovely as the opinion, old as our age, stone as the material, and cottage as our noun in the phrase. So for incorrect example, a stone old lovely cottage. So notice how it just sounds so chaotic and incorrect.
Now, let's move on to the order of adjectives. So, when we use more than one adjective to describe a noun, there's a general order we tend to follow. Although it may seem not unusual at first, adhering to this order makes our sentences flow more smoothly.
So it starts with determiner. These words tell us which noun we're talking about. Think of words like a, the, your, each, and many more. Next, we usually mention the number or quantity. These tell us how many. Examples are 1, 3, many, few, etc.
After that, we often share our opinions about things. Words like ugly, cute, or precious comes to our mind. Then we talk about size, how big or small something is. For example, big, small, or tiny.
Following size is age, describing how old or new something is, like young, old, or new. Next, we describe the shape, round, square, or rectangular.
Then comes color. For example, red, pink, or orange. After color, we sometimes mention the origin, where it comes from, such as American, South African, Korean, or Filipino.
Then, what it's made of or the material, like silk, plastic, or wooden. And finally, we might have the purpose or what it's used for, like a wedding dress or a travel journal. Here, we understand the order of adjectives in English. In it, the specific way we usually put describing words is before a noun.
Now, the important thing to remember is don't go overboard with adjectives. You don't need to use one from every category. Just use the ones that help people understand what you're describing. For example, instead of saying the elegant black Italian leather winter jacket, it's usually better to simply say the elegant winter jacket kept me warm.
Additionally, for more example, the 4 adorable tiny old brown red Italian wooden shopping baskets were perfect for the market. This follows the order: 4, which is a number; adorable, which is an opinion; tiny, which is size; old for age; round for its shape; red a color; Italian for its origin; wooden, which indicates the material; shopping baskets for the purpose.
Now, imagine if you mixed up the adjectives. For example, number 2, the 4 old, tiny, adorable, red, round Italian wooden shopping baskets were perfect for the market. It sounds a bit odd, doesn't it? Well, you can still understand it, but it lacks the same natural flow. So we must follow the order of adjectives to prevent a startling impression on the listener.
And for the last example, following the order of adjectives, we have the sentence, I saw a cute little white cat on the way home. In this example, we didn't use all the category, but we follow the order of adjectives, which is a for determiner, cute for opinion, little for size, then white for the color.
To wrap things up, remember that the order of adjectives in English starts with determiners, then number, opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, and purpose. Following this order helps our descriptions sound natural and clear.
But don't think that you need to fill in an adjective from every category. Choose the most important ones and put them in the right sequence. Thank you. Next supporter, please.
Imagine saying, I bought a leather small Italian black bag. It sounds a bit off, doesn't it? That's because the adjectives are all jumbled up. Even though each word is correct, the order is wrong. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Hi everyone, I'm Naj Selim and I'm here to share a quick but important topic, the common mistakes people make with the order of adjectives in English. It might seem like a small detail, but it can make the huge difference in how natural and clear your sentences sound. In English, adjectives follow a specific pattern when we use more than one before a noun. The usual order is what you can see on your screen and what was discussed earlier. However, some learners put the adjectives in the wrong order. For example, a leather small Italian black bag. It sounds unnatural even if all the words are right. A small black Italian leather bag, however, sounds more smooth and fluent as well as coherent. The second one is overuse or unnecessary adjectives. Throwing in a bunch of adjectives without proper order makes your sentence feel overcrowded. For example, a beautiful, big, round wooden old table. Stick to what's necessary and in the right order. A better version would be a beautiful, old, round wooden table. The third one is placing opinion after physical description. Adjectives that express opinion should come first. An example of this is a red lovely dress. It has the correct words, however, a lovely red dress sounds better and right. Finally, using commas incorrectly. Some learners insert commas where they're not needed. For example, a big brown leather sofa. Remember, not all adjectives need commas, especially when they're working together to describe the same noun. A big brown leather sofa is better. To sum it up, the order of adjectives might feel tricky at first, but once you get the pattern, your English will sound much more natural and fluent. Thank you for listening.